My name is David Miller, and this story begins in a courtroom in Dallas, Texas. I never imagined my life would come to this: a custody hearing, lawyers in suits, a judge peering down at me with tired eyes, and a woman I once thought I loved sitting across the room, her expression cold and unrecognizable. Her name was Jessica Carter. 2 years earlier, I believed Jessica was everything I wanted. She was beautiful, charming, and full of energy. She lit up every room she walked into, and in the beginning, I was blinded by it. I thought she was spontaneous and fun. I thought she was different from the quiet, reserved women I usually dated. But as the months went on, I started to see cracks in the picture she painted. And now here we were, Jessica demanding child support for a baby she claimed was mine. Only, things weren't that simple. I met Jessica at a friend's birthday party downtown. She was loud, confident, and immediately pulled me into her circle. I was drawn to her in a way I couldn't explain. After years of steady, predictable relationships, Jessica felt like a spark. We started dating quickly. Dinners, late nights, weekends spent exploring the city. She loved the attention she got wherever we went, and I ignored the whispers about her reputation. People said she was wild, that she had been with a lot of guys, that she wasn't the settling down type. But I told myself people were just jealous. When Jessica told me she was pregnant 8 months into our relationship, I was shocked but determined to step up. I wasn't sure I was ready to be a father, but I knew I wanted to do the right thing. "I'll be here," I told her. "We'll figure this out together." At the time, I meant every word. At first, I tried to be supportive. Doctor's appointments, planning for the baby, even moving in together for a while. But there were things that didn't add up. Jessica's due date didn't line up with the timeline of our relationship. When I asked about it, she brushed it off, saying doctors often got the dates wrong. There were also late-night phone calls she wouldn't explain, nights she didn't come home until morning, and messages on her phone she hid from me. When I confronted her, she laughed. "You're being paranoid, David. You need to trust me." And I did. Or at least I tried. But deep down, doubt was growing. When baby Noah was born, I wanted to believe he was mine. Holding him in the hospital, I felt a rush of emotion I couldn't describe. He was innocent, perfect, and he deserved love. But as weeks turned into months, I couldn't shake the nagging feeling. Noah didn't look like me at all. Friends and family noticed too, though they were too polite to say much. One evening, after another fight with Jessica about her disappearing for hours at a time, I finally blurted it out, "Jessica, is Noah even mine?" Her face hardened. "How dare you ask me that? Of course he's yours. You're his father, David. End of story." But it didn't feel like the end of the story. It felt like the beginning of something darker. The breaking point came 6 months later. A mutual friend of ours pulled me aside one night and told me what everyone else already seemed to know. Jessica had been seeing other men the entire time we were together. Dozens of men, according to him. She had never stopped living the wild lifestyle I thought she had left behind. And suddenly, everything made sense: the late nights, the phone calls, the secrecy. I confronted her again, this time demanding a DNA test. She refused. "You don't trust me? Fine. Maybe you're not the man I thought you were." But deep down I knew. I knew Noah might not be mine. And that's how we ended up in court. Jessica demanding child support, me demanding a paternity test. Her lawyer painted me as cold and irresponsible, a man trying to abandon his child. But my lawyer argued the truth, that I had doubts, that Jessica's past raised serious questions, and that I deserved to know before being forced into 18 years of payments and obligations. The judge agreed. A paternity test was ordered. The wait for results was the longest 2 weeks of my life. I'll never forget sitting in that sterile office, the envelope in my hands. My heart pounded as I opened it, scanning the page. Probability of paternity, 0%. Noah wasn't mine. I felt both relief and heartbreak. Relief that I wasn't crazy, that my doubts were justified. Heartbreak because, despite everything, I had loved that little boy. I had rocked him to sleep, fed him bottles, whispered promises into his tiny ears. But he wasn't mine. And Jessica's lies had stolen those moments from me. In court, the judge ruled in my favor. No child support. No legal responsibility. Jessica's face twisted with rage as the decision was read. She stormed out of the courtroom without a word. And just like that, the chapter closed. But for me, the story wasn't over. Because I was left with the pieces of a broken heart, the betrayal of someone I once trusted, and the haunting memory of a child who would grow up never knowing me. In the months that followed, I focused on rebuilding my life. Therapy helped. Friends helped. Slowly, I started to heal. I realized Jessica's betrayal wasn't about me, it was about her choices, her lies, her inability to be honest. And though I still thought about Noah, I reminded myself he was better off without the chaos Jessica created. As for me, I vowed never to ignore red flags again. Never to let charm blind me to truth. Now, years later, I look back and see the lesson clearly. Love isn't about excitement or sparks that burn too quickly. It's about trust, honesty, and respect. Without those, everything falls apart. Jessica wanted child support. She wanted me to shoulder the responsibility for her choices, her past, her lies. But the truth came out. And though it broke me, it also set me free. Because sometimes the harshest truths are the ones that save us from a lifetime of pain.